Welcome to the Chapter 6 recap. Let's begin. Freya summons Lenneth to provide an update on the war. Unsurprisingly, the Aesir army is enjoying the boons of Valkyrie's work. Belenus finds himself involved in an operation to prevent a magic experiment at Fort Diston, in which he leads a unit to victory. Llewellyn was patrolling the Sobulk River when he spotted an unfamiliar patrol. After his captain dispatched a soldier to track them, they learned that this unknown unit was a Vanir unit in disguise, headed towards the Aesir fort at Sobulk. Llewellyn's platoon gets the drop on them before they can set up their own ambush. Up in the north, the Vanir have planted a dragon worm in Lambert Lake. Its awakening is causing the destruction of the surrounding forest. Thor hatches a plan to form a new dragon-slaying platoon and wants Janus to be part of it. Janus played a major role in destroying the dragon worm, a battle in which he led a unit and struck resounding blows. June engages the Vanir with the 4th platoon in the Curadel Plains. The cunning Vanir lit the grasses on fire, which was then carried by the wind down to the platoon. Being cornered, June and the others fought bravely while on the back foot, which eventually earned June a victory and a wound. Thankfully, nothing life-threatening. Lucian's tenure with the Aesir army has been busy. Standing in the plains, he reminisces on Valkyrie and Platina before going out to battle in the Junib Sea to take on the Vanir special forces. Afterwards, Lucian takes on a Vanir scouting party. A soldier tries to make the run for it, but Lucian swiftly chases him down and captures him. Freya grants Lenneth items and weapons for the next leg of her journey, and requests of her a Einherjar who would help form a new platoon for combating dragons. In Vilnor, Badrak, who was involved in the attempted kidnapping of Yolanda early on, finds himself struck by an assassin from the Thieves Guild. As he limps back home, fatally wounded, he delves into the memories of his past. In this small glimpse of his life, we see that Badrak was pretty much a lazy bum, refusing to work and sleeping into the afternoons. Gina, a woman who berates him for this, explains to him that the cactus she's tending to only blooms one night a month and only for a few hours. In that short window where the flower blooms, one can make a wish and it would supposedly come true. Badrak doesn't believe the tale, of course. He ends up going to the Thieves Guild looking for work, and he also ends up not being able to pay their commission fees and ends up working solo. Back to the present, he arrives at his doorstep, completely bloodied and on his last breaths. He wishes not to die. Lenneth appears. Unfortunately, Lenneth informs him that it is Hel who has asked for his soul, not Odin. Trying to plead for his soul, Badrak tries to remember a single good deed he has done and recounts the times he murdered, kidnapped, stole, and even sold women into slavery. Valkyrie deems this whole song and dance a waste of time. However, the cactus flower blooms, and Badrak recalls the time he had saved the girl from the slavers that hired him to transport her, not out of any virtue, but rather to spite the slavers who stiffed him on his pay. He ends up dropping her off at a church. Lenneth comments that even a man in darkness can bloom for one fleeting moment, and Badrak joins up with Lenneth. Back in Highland again, a songstress named Shiho begs forgiveness from the locals, who hate her for turning soldiers into fearsome fighters with no fear of death with the power of her song. In the past, we see a scene where Shiho is struck by a commander for not singing on the battlefield. After the battle is lost, one of the enemy samurai comes across the songstress and wonders why she stopped singing. Shiho reveals that she is blind and wishes to die. Instead of striking her down, Suo, the enemy samurai, takes pity on her and returns the song maiden to his commander. He almost immediately strikes her down, citing that it is because of her that so many of his compatriots are dead. We don't see Valkyrie appear, but Shiho joins her party. Back in the Arcane ruins, we see an old companion of Arngrim's, Celia, thinking about her old friends, as she seeks to take out a certain Grey. Miserable and alone, she bravely forges ahead on her quest to kill Grey, who she believed murdered another one of their companions, Lamia, and caused the entire band she was with to go mad and head off to their respective deaths. Grey is silent. Celia demands Grey answer for his crimes, but also realizes that she does not want to be on her own. Grey utters the words, "Forgive me," and the suit of armor collapses, revealing that it was hollow. There was no man within. Lenneth appears to him, explaining that he has lost his body through the soul transfer ritual. It appears that Lemia has saved his life with that ritual, but when he tried to save her the same way, it failed, and he became trapped in the armor. Lenneth offers him the role of Einherjar, and Grey accepts, even though he feels unworthy. Foul fumes seep out of a sunken shrine in the Vilnor region. Suspecting undead activity, Valkyrie gets to work. Plunging into the depths, she finds a wraith at its innermost point. After a difficult battle, Lenneth destroys the lingering spirit. A strong pull draws Lenneth to the lost city of Dipan, a once prosperous kingdom now reduced to ruins. As Lenneth walks the dilapidated streets, a powerful psychic energy calls forth the undead, with a palpable sense of loss and regret. At the city square, she sees Barbarossa, the old king of Dipan, lamenting the fall of his land and calling out the names of his mage advisors. He sees Lenneth and declares that she is the servant of Satan who destroyed his kingdom. Valkyrie protests her innocence and says that she has no intention of apologizing for something she has no memory of. Barbarossa doesn't believe her and takes on a giant headless form and attacks her. Even though Valkyrie strikes him down, his spirit remains unkillable and proclaims that he will restore the lost souls of his people to their former glory. Valkyrie realizes that to free Barbarossa's soul, she must seek that which binds him here. Entering the palace, she finds it overrun with monsters. In one of the chambers, Lenneth comes across a time machine, one which invisible onlookers activate to fling her to the past. Intuiting what has taken place, she takes a look around the currently pristine palace of the past, only to find the corpses of soldiers strewn across the halls. Once outside, she is struck by the sight of restored buildings, but sees people coming, so she hides herself. We see Llewellyn and Messina being led by a Valkyrie clad in black armor. They speak of the three mages, the three advisors of King Barbarossa, and mention that Arngrim is preparing the execution. Messina mentions that the queen is missing and there's a hidden room in the royal palace. The Black Valkyrie senses Lenneth's power, but figures it's just her imagination. Lenneth, coming out in her civilian clothes, recognizes the Black Valkyrie as one of her sisters, Chris. Lenneth walks amongst the locals who are amidst severe hardship. From them, she learns a few key things: that the gods are angry with King Barbarossa, and one of the king's advisors helped develop the time machine, and that if it weren't for those three mages, the gods would not have punished their kingdom so. Heading back into the palace, Lenneth locates the secret room where the queen, Malabeth, hides. She asks Valkyrie to take Barbarossa's crown to him. Returning to the execution site, the guillotine is prepared, flanked by Laufer and Arngrim. Christ, overseeing this event, makes one last condemnation of the king, and the guillotine falls. Later that night, Lenneth picks up Barbarossa's head and is promptly sent back to her time, to the surprise of the three mages who are still watching her in secret. Back in the present, Lenneth presents Barbarossa his crown, returning him to his human form. Barbarossa takes some responsibility and says, regardless of what his mages did, it was ultimately his searching for eternity which brought about the destruction of his kingdom. Barbarossa gives his heartfelt thanks to the battle-maiden Valkyrie, and his soul drifts on to the next world. Lenneth turns and begins to address her invisible enemies. She reveals that she was able to travel back to the present because of the strong bonds of king and queen, bonds that transcend time. Being ousted, the mages reveal themselves to Lenneth, gloating and mocking both her and King Barbarossa. Returning to the palace, Lenneth clears out the monsters from its halls and goes to confront the mages. They threaten to feast on her soul, but she swiftly silences them forever. After sending Jael up to Asgard, Lenneth prepares to report to Freya once again. That's it for chapter 6. I can really feel it, man. The story is going like full steam right now, and I'm having a great time. I cannot wait to see you guys in the next recap. And to that end, you know, like, comment, and subscribe and all that. Never fun to repeat that. It's like a mantra almost, but hey, it helps me. See you guys in the next one. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to it. Peace.